Namaste everyone and welcome to Round Glass Living. I'm Lama Yeshe and I'm grateful to be sharing this meditation with you live from India. Today's practice is about stillness, and true stillness can only be found inside of ourselves. But to be able to find that stillness, we need to calm the mind down. And we can do this by immersing ourselves in nature. Before we get started, I have a question for you. Where is your favorite place in nature? So just pop that in the chat and I'll get round to reading them out in a moment. So in today's meditation, we're going to take a walk through a beautiful evergreen forest and use all of our senses to calm ourselves down. We will then be able to lay down and observe our minds slipping into stillness. So as I'm live from India, then it's a very spiritual place. So they're just doing their prayers for a moment. That will go on in the background. I hope it doesn't disturb you. So people have put their favorite places in nature. So somebody's put the beach, the mountains or forest, in my garden, out in the country, by a lake, creek or a stream, or even just in my backyard. That's the beauty of nature. It is all around us. We don't have to really go anywhere special. We just have to be a little bit creative. So wherever we are, there's going to be some sort of greenery or some sort of plants or trees. So if we're creative, we can immerse ourselves in nature wherever, even if we're in an urban environment. So if you have any questions or any doubts pop into your mind when we're going through this practice, then put them in the chat and I'll try to get round to answering them at the end. So this practice is going to be a visualization practice. So we're going to visualize a forest, visualize ourselves in it, use all our senses so we can really engage with that forest. And then we're going to find a nice area to lay down, and we're going to allow nature, listening to nature, and allow that to let us settle down. And that inner peace that we'll get from the stillness when we stop all that chitter chatter going on in our head and all those emotions and thoughts and everything that distracts us, we're going to allow those just to settle down. So get yourself nice and comfortable now. If you're sitting on a chair, just put your feet flat on the ground, shoulder length apart. Put your back straight and drop the shoulders so you feel nice and relaxed. Put your hands in your lap, wherever they're going to be the most comfortable for you. And then either close your eyes or half close them and look down on the floor and find a spot on the floor. So get yourself nice and comfortable. And we begin this practice by taking 3 calming breaths. This is just to settle ourselves down. So I want you to breathe in slowly and steady through the nose and hold the breath. And then breathe the air out through your mouth. And breathe in. And hold. And breathe out. Breathe in. And hold. And breathe out. And now just breathe normally in and out through the nose. Don't change your breath here. Just breathe normally, allowing that breath to find its own natural rhythm. And I want you to focus your awareness on the breath as it gently flows in and out of the nose. And just keep your awareness on that for 1 minute. And remember, relax. So now I want you to picture a forest in your mind. And I'd like you to picture a beautiful evergreen forest. So this may be a forest that you've actually been into yourself, or you may have seen it on film or in a magazine, or maybe it's just a forest of your imagination. Whatever it is, I want you to try and picture that forest in your mind now. And try to picture it in as much detail as possible. And now you have a picture of this forest in your mind. I want you to imagine that you're now standing in the middle of that forest. So just imagine yourself now standing in your forest. And so we can really engage with this forest. We're going to take a walk. So now just imagine that you're slowly walking through this forest. And as you're walking through, I want you to have a good look around you. Look at the trees, look at the ground, the grass, any wildflowers. Look at the leaves and look up through the tops of the trees and see the sky. So just slowly walk through this forest and have a good look around you. Take in as much of that natural beauty as you can. And as you're walking, just stop sometime And then look closely at the trees and the bark on the trees, and maybe there's some boulders there that have moss on. So really have a good look around, really connect yourself with nature. So let's start walking again. And this time, as you're walking, I want you to listen for whatever sounds you can hear. Maybe you can hear water running somewhere in the distance. Maybe you can hear the wind gently blowing through the trees. And I'm sure you can hear the birds singing in the trees. So as you're walking, just listen for all the sounds that nature has to offer. And so keep slowly walking through your forest, but now take some deep breaths in through the nose and just notice what smells there are in the forest. Maybe you can smell the trees or the wildflowers, or maybe there's just a sweet scent in the air. Just notice what smells there are. So as you slowly keep walking, if you look to your left-hand side now, you'll see a beautiful, lush green bit of grass. I want you to walk over to that grass and sit down and touch your hands gently on the grass. Don't pull the grass, but just gently let that grass tickle the palms of your hands. What does it feel like? So now I want you to lay down on your back, just looking up at the tops of the trees. And I want that stillness of the forest to begin to make your mind still. Usually, our minds are like a leaf being blown around in the wind. So I want you to imagine that now. Imagine that your mind is like that leaf and it's been blown all over the place. But slowly, as you lay there, just listening to the sounds of the forest, that leaf just slowly, slowly starts settling down. And eventually that leaf just touches the ground. And that is when your mind starts to become still. This is an inner stillness. So I want you to lay there. Whatever sounds you can hear, just let them wash over you. Whatever thoughts come into your head, just allow them to come and let them go. Don't engage them. Feel your body becoming heavy and sinking down into that grass. And we're just going to spend the next minute in that stillness, and the stillness and silence of the mind. You've got nowhere to go now. Nothing to think about, nothing to do, but just let go. Keep allowing your mind to that stillness. Nature is like a superpower. It only takes 20 minutes of walking through a forest, and all of our cares just disappear. All of our problems, we bring them into perspective. All of our stress and anxiety, we let go of. And we allow that forest to still our mind. So before we finish this practice, I want you to reflect back over it. What did it feel like to walk through the forest using all of your senses? And when you lay down on the ground and just allowed that your mind, the leaf, to slowly, slowly settle down into stillness, what did that feel like? So I would love to leave you laying in the forest for another hour or so, but unfortunately, we have to come back to the real world. So now just very slowly start to open your eyes. But remember, when you do this practice, you can do it for a lot longer than this, for as long as you want. And if you can go into a forest and really do it, wow, how wonderful that would be. So we have a question. So I could feel the forest around me, sounds of trickling water and woodsy air. Is it okay to light a cypress scented candle to add to the experience, or better to keep it 100% visualization? Yeah, I would just keep it a visualization personally. So, the more natural it is for you, the better it is. And if we start, putting in bird sounds, false bird sounds, and lighting candles and things, it really sort of takes it away from our imagination. And this is about using our imagination. But whatever works for you, it's not for me to tell you don't do it, but I think it's better if you don't do it. So thank you for sharing this time with me today. I'll be back again next week to share another live meditation session. But in the meantime, please check out my new immersive nature meditation course on roundglass.com or on the Roundglass Living app. So this course was filmed in a forest in the Himalayas in India. It's 9 sessions, which some are walking, so gratitude walk, some are using your senses, some are listening to sound, some are lying down staring up at the night sky. It is filmed so beautifully. It is breathtakingly beautiful. So, and I think the course is going to help so many people reconnect to nature. So please, we've got a short video now, so please check out this new behind the scene videos. Namaste. It was like a personal quest, that something I'd always wanted to do, never was given this wonderful opportunity. And so when I was given the opportunity, I thought, I'm not going to waste this. We spend so much of our time trying to control everything, trying to make everything perfect, everything the way that we want it to be. But when we're in nature, nature has control. So keep looking around. Stop a moment and just look around. Take everything in. So the whole of this series came about through lockdown, really. Everybody was in their homes. Some people didn't have gardens, so for weeks they didn't even, weren't allowed to go out. And so once we started to go out, I thought that, the last thing we need to do now is just to go back to normal. I thought that we need to take some time here to change. That's when the thought really came to my head that, I should be doing something to encourage people to get into nature. So I went into the forest and I did some reels for Instagram, some 30 seconds about how to reconnect with nature. And there was such a success, and so many people were saying, do more, do longer. And I thought, then this really is the time to connect with people. As a young kid, I was always trying to find something. I didn't fit in. I didn't fit in at school. I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't fit in with my family. But where I did fit in, out in nature. Now, I feel that I'm not this strange little boy, just part of whatever is going on here. I felt that nature's helped me in my life, and I want it to help other people. We were there for 4 days, and there were 4 difficult days really, because one of the weather, the remoteness, so we could only drive so far, and then we had to carry everything up to the village. We had people carrying all the equipment, and they were running up that mountain like, mountain donkeys, and there was me puffing and panting as I walked up. So next time I'll be definitely hitting the gym before I climb mountains every day like that. I think the most difficult part for me was the cold. Actually, one point, it was the very last one we had to do, and it was a stargazing one. During the day we'd done the walking one, and it was starting to rain, and then we looked up and you can see this white thing coming down the mountain where the snow was coming closer and closer and closer, and they say, lie down quick and look relaxed. And the wind was blowing, it was cold, it was drizzling, the snow was coming, and they said, relax. I was like, I can't. so it had lots and lots of challenges, but looking back, they were fun, and the end result is fantastic, so we can forget all about that. I'm proud of all of the crew, everybody. Everybody worked so hard for me to realize my dream. This was my dream, and they helped me realize it. I think what people will gain from this course, which they may not gain from other courses, is the practicality of it, that you can use it wherever you are. So the walking meditations were put in there because there are people who can't sit, and then they think that, as soon as they sit, I get so many thoughts in my head, and they think that then that's stopping them meditating. So it gives them that opportunity. Use your senses. That's meditation. So, meditation isn't sitting cross-legged on the floor and, like this. I mean, meditation is doing your gardening, focusing on your garden, picking up the weeds, looking after the flowers. That's meditation. Washing your dirty dishes and feeling the water, the warm water on your hands, and feeling what it's like to, when you wash the dishes, focusing on that. That's meditation. Once you learn how to really use your senses, really be able to walk and meditate, learn about gratitude, all of those things you can introduce into your life. And once you introduce them into your life, then it's going to change your life forever. I mean, there is no end to gratitude, is there? Learn these practices. You can use them for the rest of your life.